Uncle there for us. Let's bring in now the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Penny Appeal, Ahmad Bostan. Ahmad, great to see you again. Do you think this is a very significant development in terms of allowing more aid in?
Good morning, Wilfred. My fear is it is too little too late for so many people suffering in Gaza at the moment. We have to appreciate the gravity of the situation. You have imminent famine in Gaza right now, and we've seen crossings being opened before. We saw the Rafah border crossing that was opened a number of months ago. Calls were made, promises were made that hundreds of trucks would be allowed in. We didn't see that materialize. Then we saw the Karim Shalom crossing open, and again, the same promises were made. So as a humanitarian community, we are extremely concerned that this even falls below being a sticking plaster on the situation. Nothing less than an immediate humanitarian ceasefire will even begin to address the huge needs of so many people suffering in Gaza at the moment, particularly those children that are malnourished and people who are suffering with multiple health difficulties because of the starvation and the imminent famine that we see before us.
Clearly, pressure's been applied by the US on Israel this week, and Antony Blinken, in the soundbite we played just moments ago, said the proof will be in the pudding, or words to that effect. Was that heartening to you? Was that a different sort of development, or again, is that something that you think is more of the same?
Every call, every statement helps. I'll not dismiss the significance of statements and the importance of the humanitarian plight of the people of Gaza being raised at the international level, but it must result in material action. Right now, we've got over 280,000 tons, metric tons of food, of supplies that are not being allowed to get in. So what we really need clarity on is how will we see the backlog, first of all, addressed, and then we can look at those passages and those ways that aid can be delivered. And inside Gaza itself, supplies are running dangerously low, practically non-existent at the moment. And I am really, really concerned at the fact that we are now in the month of Ramadan. We are only days away from the festival of Eid. And sometimes we forget the fact that not only are food supplies denied, medical supplies, water supplies, but also during this month of Ramadan, less than 10% of people in Gaza have been able to go to their mosques and to be able to observe Ramadan in a religious sense as well. So this really is a crisis that has both physical as well as mental health consequences for the people of Gaza that will remain eternally scarred by what they're enduring at the moment.
We're waiting, Ahmed, for the Israeli government and the military to clarify what actually happened earlier in the week when aid workers were killed. Are you eagerly awaiting that explanation? Are you sceptical of it? Talk me through the emotions of the community you work with over the course of the last week.
As a community, we are heartbroken and we are really, really run down. Of course, that does not affect in any way our resolve, our determination to continue serving the people of Gaza. But right now, as we speak, nearly 200 aid workers have lost their lives, 169 of whom are Palestinian aid workers, people who live in Gaza themselves, who have lost their lives. And of course, the 7 heroes that lost their lives earlier this week. It is, of course, important that a full and thorough investigation takes place into what happened. And what concerns us deeply is the fact that the individuals, when they lost their lives, they were clearly in front of the eyes of the world, humanitarian aid workers, clearly holding the signage of their organization, clearly out there to deliver aid with approval to deliver aid. Because as I've mentioned on a number of occasions, we don't just go out and randomly deliver aid. There are processes and procedures that we follow, notifications that we send to the forces to get the authorizations and permissions. And these are sent a minimum of 2 days in advance. So we really need that investigation, and we really need safety and security of both aid workers, but most importantly, above and beyond everything else, the people of Gaza, the civilians of Gaza, the women and children of Gaza, many of whom have already lost their lives, to be protected and to be safeguarded. Because if the bombs and air raids are not taking their lives, malnutrition, starvation, and imminent famine are taking their lives. And every minute, Wilfred, is a critical moment. We can't lose any more time.
Ahmad Bostan from the Penny Appeal, thanks for joining us. Well,